you think nostalgia can be a bad thing? I think of people saying, don't remake a movie like Back to the Future just for nostalgia, which is a movie for me would do well for a remake in the modern day. Well, there's a lot to unpack when it comes to nostalgia and the good and the bad of it. Where you look at a project like Deadpool and Wolverine, that a big part of the appeal of the project is nostalgia, that it reminds you of the past. Or even with Alien Romulus, a movie I'm very positive on, but so much of what just immediately feels nice as an Alien fan is it reminds me of the past. And so when you have an industry that is so dominated by trying to remind people of the past and being nervous about taking risks on inventing new stories, new franchises, new worlds, and we just want to lean into the familiar, things that remind us of our childhood, those movies we grew up with that are safe, I think that you limit your potential. You make it very difficult to invent the new Star Wars, find the new Back to the Future, where the industry is afraid to tell new stories, and us as viewers are much more likely to buy tickets for the familiar, something that reminds us of the past, something that is tied to the past. We trust franchises. Back in the day, people trusted actors, they trusted directors, and so the era of the movie stars, you'd go see it because it has Arnold and he carries 2 machine guns. It's this comedic actor. You trust this actor doing this thing. Or a lot of directors were brands back in the day. Now it's like Nolan is a brand and not a lot of others. Villeneuve is a brand, but not a lot of others. And now we don't trust the actors. We don't trust the directors. We trust franchises and that feeling of the past. Nostalgia is not good or bad. It just is. I think we're cooking too much. We're putting that in too many recipes, and we need to find the new stuff. So in that sense, the overuse of nostalgia is very bad for the industry as a whole. And it's a strange thing. Everybody complains there's too many sequels, there's too many remakes, until it's the one that you want. So we want the thing that reminds us of the past, that does it right. And last year everyone crapped on The Flash because it did it wrong for a lot of people, and then they loved Deadpool and Wolverine because it did it right for those people, certain people. It is what it is. But you continue the other side to the nostalgia. I think of people who say, don't make a movie like Back to the Future just for nostalgia. Well, if that's all they're doing, if they're only remaking Back to the Future for nostalgia, I would agree with that person. Don't remake Back to the Future just because of nostalgia. But the back half of what you said is why I think you should remake Back to the Future. You're not remaking it just to remember the past? Remember how that movie made you feel? Let's do that again. Let's do a legacy Back to the Future sequel. Why doesn't 2025 look as advanced as 2015 from Back to the Future 2? What happened to the timeline? Did Marty break the timeline? Oh, wow, let's unpack all of this. Let's figure out what's going on. Don't do it just to do nostalgia or whatever. Do it because the idea is transferable and it's fresh and new if you do it now versus when we did it in 1985, where 30 years before now is the mid-90s. Mid-80s was 40 years ago. And so you're talking about 30 years ago, the start of dial-up internet, America Online, Donald Trump as a real estate mogul. You literally can transfer the Ronald Reagan joke to Donald Trump. There's so much comedic gold, and it's such a different thing. The timeless concept of meeting your parents when they're in high school is always translatable, and the idea of the comedy of different eras is transferable. That's the reason to remake it, not just to do nostalgia. If that's why so many of these remakes, people hate them, because that's what they feel like, a cheap nostalgia cash grab. When you watch a movie and you go, there was so much love poured into that, all of a sudden you don't talk about it as a cheap nostalgia cash grab. You talk about it as a love letter to the Fox universe, celebrating all these characters that we never even loved before, but now we love Jennifer Garner as Elektra. And so you can't just make it just to make it, just for nostalgia. You have to make it with love, passion, and care. You have to have something new to add to it, to expand it, to make it fresh, that gets people excited for it. So nostalgia is not good or bad. It just is. And it's all your reason for doing it is what matters. And I don't think we spend too much time on nostalgia. We spend too much time playing it safe, reminding people of the past, building on the past, rather than cutting a new future and discovering the next Star Wars, the next Indiana Jones, the next Ghostbusters. All these things that they've been remaking and sequeling the last several years, even like Twisters. All of these things were original movies, original stories, original universes, original characters within the last 40 or 50 years. And we're not doing that enough anymore. As Hollywood creating them, and us as viewers buying tickets to support them, that encourages them to make more.
Most of these clips are pulled from my Patreon live streams. I do about 6 live streams every single month. For $2 per month, $20 per year, you can get access to all the exclusive videos and live streams. For $5 per month, you get your name on my end card. At the top tier, you get a 30-minute video chat with me each month. The link down below in the description has more information.